Ready for some Hag Horror? It's GarbAugust, so it's a fun, pulpy month, and the whole of the month of August, because this reading event devised by Criminali, who is the main host of this reading event, and there are a bunch of co-hosts as well. I am honored to be one of the co-hosts of this fun pulp reading event, pulp fiction and pulp non-fiction reading event. All of the hosts are linked in the description box below, and there is also other information about this reading event in the description box below. This is Obscure Book Adventures, and I am your host, Annie. And the theme for week 1 is anything goes, so you can read any trashy novel, fiction or non-fiction, whatever you like. If it's popular fiction, you can read it, or you can also watch films, trashy films, if you like, for this reading event. So we decided, that is Red and me, decided to do a body read. It's my first body read, and we decided to read Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, which was turned into a film. Which was turned into a film. I have to turn it around, with Bette Davis and Joan Crawford. And Henry Farrell wrote this legendary novel, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. I don't think Betty's Red put up her video, a review about this novel yet, but when she does, I will link it in the description box below. There has been a lot said about the legendary film, so I was thinking, what can I possibly add to all this? Well, in this video I will talk about the original story by Farrell, and I will take a closer look at older women in film, in films. So, but first things first, what is the story about? It's about two sisters, Jane and Blanche, and Jane is an acclaimed child star and a very successful child star, but she never managed to get success as an adult, as an actress. Blanche, on the other hand, when she was a child, she always had to live in the shadow of her famous sister. But now the tables are turned, and Blanche, as an adult, has a successful acting career. But due to a tragic car accident, Blanche ends up in a wheelchair, and Jane has to take care of her. Not that Jane really feels like it, but as during the accident, Jane was drunk and she feels responsible for the car accident happening. So out of a feeling of guilt, Jane takes care of the invalid Blanche. Farrell wrote this story in 1960, and when he needed money to pay for his wife's medical bills, he decided to come up with a really commercial idea. He later recalls, I decided on a story so outrageous that it couldn't help but be commercial. So he had the perfect GarbAugust mindset. The film and the novel aren't that different. The film follows the novel quite closely, apart from some minor changes, and Edwin Edwin is a musician Jane hired, having a bigger part in the end of the story of the novel, which was cut out of the film script, which I must say I did not really mind. The film remains a thrilling suspense story until the end credits roll, I must admit, even without this part in it. Whatever Happened to Baby Jane sparked a series of films starring Betty old ladies, and a new genre was born: the Hag Horror or Psycho-Biddy or Hagsploitation, as it also was called. So not long after the success of Baby Jane, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, Farrell wrote another story. This time it was a short story, Whatever Happened to Cousin Charlotte, which is also in this edition of the novel, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. And this story was turned into a film, Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, which also starred Bette Davis. It was supposed to be another film starring Bette Davis and Joan Crawford, but if I remember correctly, Joan Crawford had to drop out during because of illness or an injury or something. I don't quite remember. So she was replaced by Olivia de Havilland. And I will be talking about this short story and the film in another video I will put up in a couple of days. So what about the older women in films? It's widely known that aging actresses have a hard time finding roles to play. For reasons unknown to me, writers don't write stories with women in them that are between 45 and 65. Well, there are probably some writers who do write parts for these women, these actresses, but you must admit they are absolutely scarce. And even when they have roles for women in this age category, these roles often go to the same actresses. These few actresses, like for thinking of Meryl Streep, for example. It's no wonder that a lot of Hollywood actresses seek refuge in plastic surgery and Botox to stretch their shelf life. I even think nowadays male actors also seek refuge in facial enhancing treatments. Parts for over 65 are scarce too, but you have the odd granny here and there. And that reminds me to mention a minor part in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, and that is Dell. And Dell is the mother of Edwin, the musician Jane hired. And Marjorie Bennett does an excellent job at playing this working class English mother. I don't recognize the accent. If you know what accent she has, do let me know, because I'm curious what kind of British accent it is. But I can really imagine her being. She plays this working class English mother, but I can imagine her being from the poor side, from the slums in London or something. I don't know. But anyway, Del Flagg is a stereotype. And we see a lot of films where a working class mother is required, they are reduced to this kind of stereotypes. But again, Marjorie Bennett does an excellent job at playing this mother. So stereotypes, that's a category of women of a certain age are often reduced to in a lot of films. Whatever Happened to Baby Jane just added a new stereotype in 1962, the insane old lady. But Baby Jane wasn't the first film that featured a nutty elderly woman. In 1950, Billy Wilder introduced the first mentally unstable woman in his film Sunset Boulevard. Like Jane, Norma Desmond, played by Gloria Swanson, is an elderly actress who is determined to make a comeback. Billy Wilder wraps his story in a mystery, and Robert Aldrich and Henry Farrell make it horror. Well, I must say, things have changed since 1962. What in 1962 was horror can be seen more now as a thrilling suspense story, because we are now so used to violence and shock elements in films that, to have a film in the horror genre, you have to put a lot more shock effects and maybe blood and gore in it. So nowadays we could consider Whatever Happened to Baby Jane a thrilling suspense story, a suspense thriller. But whatever label you put on it, they accomplished to make an excellent story and film adaptation. And that with only a budget of $750,000, and Bette Davis and Joan Crawford exchanged most of their salary for a percentage of the profits. They did the utmost to give not only a wonderful performance, but to promote the film as well. And they succeeded. Of course, Bette Davis got the most credit, as often is the case with actors who play mentally deranged people. And I must admit, Davis pulls it off. She managed to play this larger-than-life character and grotesque character that without making a laughing stock of herself, even with the ridiculous makeup, which she did herself, by the way. As I watched the documentary, she wanted a certain look, and no makeup artist, physicist, or anything. The people who do the makeup of the film stars, nobody wanted to put on that kind of makeup, as they feared they would never work in Hollywood again if they did. But when Henry Farrell came to visited the set, he looked at Bette Davis in full makeup and costume, and the first thing he said to Davis was, "Well, this is exactly how I pictured Baby Jane." So that is really a good compliment to get. But let's not forget the wonderful performance of Joan Crawford. She is really convincing as a wheelchair-bound, frightened woman. Because Hag Horror became a genre of its own, again, older women in films become a stereotype. But being the first in the genre. Baby Jane isn't a stereotype just yet. She's a real three-dimensional character. I don't know why writers, producers, and film directors feel the need to reduce older women to stereotypes. Maybe I'm wrong and women aren't reduced to stereotypes. I don't know. Maybe the obvious reason I can think of is that there are a lot of men working in the film industry who just don't think women of a certain age are interesting. I don't know for sure. Maybe it's just a Hollywood thing. Again, I don't know for sure. But are things different in Europe? Well, I remember speaking to an actress, an elderly actress, and she says, well, out here in the Netherlands, there aren't any parts for women over 45. There just aren't the parts for them. And I was wondering, is this the case in Africa, in Asia? Let me know. I don't know. I haven't got a clue, but I would be interested to know more about it. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Well, leave your thoughts in the comments. I can highly recommend the novel Whatever Happened to Baby Jane and the film Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. If you get this edition of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, you get also, I think, 2 or 3 short stories Farrell wrote that are also in this novel, and that includes Whatever Happened to Cousin Charlotte, which was turned into the film Hush Hush, Sweet Charlotte. Anyway, it has been nice talking to you, and I hope you are enjoying your GarbAugust. Let me know what you are reading, or maybe you're just watching trashy films, which is okay too. Well, thanks for watching.